Coming up, I'm going to be giving an update on multiple Disney Plus original series, including the Spiderwick Chronicles, Nautilus, and Doogie Kamealoha MD. But before we go any further, make sure you do hit that subscribe button to keep up with the latest Disney Plus news. So we've got lots of news now about some shows that are no longer going to be coming to Disney Plus in the future. So most of this is down to cost cutting. So Disney are trying to save money. They're trying to save about $5 billion worth of savings. They have previously removed about $2.4 billion worth of content from Disney Plus, things like Willow, Big Shot, Mighty Ducks Game Changers. This is all part of basically a tax write-off. Now, apparently, a couple of other shows have been included in that we weren't aware of. So they're going to be the Spiderwick Chronicles and also Nautilus. The differences with those two shows, they haven't been released on Disney Plus, and they're no longer going to be released on Disney Plus. However, they are not cancelled in the same way that the other shows were, because they are still going to get released, hopefully. That is because Paramount was working on the Spiderwick Chronicles with 20th Television. So Paramount have now got taken the show, and they're trying to find a new place for it. So whether or not that's Paramount Plus or some other network, they're trying to basically shop it around to try and sell it. So Disney's essentially written it off and sold it on to another company to do something with. So Spiderwick Chronicles could still come about. This was a show that was originally announced back at the Disney Plus Day back in 2021. Filming is completely done on it. It's all done. Same thing with Nautilus, which is a British Disney Plus original series. So that one is now being shopped around by Disney and other producers on the show, because they're basically just trying to get some money from this. So they're not cancelled in the same way that we're never going to see them. Things like Batgirl, which Warner Bros. Did, where they just kind of cancelled it and we never see it. They're essentially trying to find somewhere else that was willing to pay for it. Hopefully someone does, but whether or not another platform wants to pick up on it, who knows. I would definitely say it does make a second season of these shows much more unlikely, because essentially Disney's shown that they've not got any faith in it. But they could be really good, or they're maybe not as good. I mean, that's my initial thought as well on these shows, was maybe they're just not up to Disney's standard, and therefore they looked at it and went, look, this is just not good enough. We don't think it's, we're just going to sell it off because we don't think it's going to do very well. There is that thing, they might be amazing. Don't know where they're going to end up, but so those shows are no longer moving forward on Disney Plus. So not essentially cancelled in the same way, but it's definitely a weird situation. I don't necessarily think it's a good idea. Obviously, with the strikes ongoing now, they're not filming anything, so you'd imagine having a couple of shows in the can ready to go, you would use them, but that's definitely disappointing, and that's not the case. Also, I think it's just a continued show of especially, and I completely see this from US subscribers' points of view, of going, what is actually coming to Disney Plus at the minute? Because other than Marvel and Star Wars, there isn't really a whole host of stuff. We are all waiting on the big green monster Hulu to kind of join in with Disney Plus, which will vastly boost up the amount of content that's going to be coming to the platform every single week, like it does internationally. But in terms of Disney shows and stuff like that, we're just going to see a lot less. Disney have said that they want to put out a more curated list, better shows, less frequently. Maybe just Nautilus and Spiderwick Chronicles were just too expensive to consider to what they thought it was going to be worth. It's not good. I mean, there's generally just, it's definitely, the only silver lining is at least these ones might end up being picked up by somebody else, but who knows? They might not even be done. Other networks are also trying to cut costs, but very strange situation. Also shows you why Disney kind of got a little bit carried away with announcing stuff too far in advance, and that would be coming to Disney Plus. Maybe in some ways it'd be better off holding stuff back, but very weird situation. But I definitely want to clarify the fact that they're not cancelled in the same way, because we're seeing a lot of reports of that, but I just wanted to make sure they are being shopped around to other platforms, so we might end up still seeing it. I can't think there's going to be a second season of either of them unless they are really good, but then if they are really good, why did Disney get rid of them? Just a mess. Horrible situation, not good at all. So that was a report from Deadline, and Disney even did actually contact me to confirm the news with Nautilus, and just to especially indicate that there are no other UK originals that are going through this. It was just Nautilus. So again, just a clarification for that one. Also, it was revealed in the article with Deadline about the initial announcement of Spiderwick Chronicles that the Goosebumps series, which is coming to Disney Plus later this year, is also going to end up going onto Hulu. So this show was actually created by Sony for Disney. Again, licensing in extra content, other brands, and so that one's going to be on Hulu as well. on one hand, I kind of look at it and go, this is good for Hulu subscribers and for Disney Plus subscribers, blending the lines, making things a little bit more weirder. You know, Disney can make more money on having it on both platforms, more advertising from Hulu, and in general, they can kind of shift around the books a little bit, so it's not all on Disney Plus, it's on everyone's books, so it looks a little bit better. I think having them on both shows, I think we on both platforms makes a lot of sense moving forward. I think we should be seeing more of this, especially in the run-up to them eventually merging. You know, it kind of makes more sense for them to do that. But it'd be nice if Disney Plus in the US got some of the Hulu stuff a little bit more, because it seems to only ever go one way at the minute. So that's... yeah, so all of this is, again, all part of this cost-cutting, just cutting back. Because eventually, when they bring that Hulu content into Disney Plus and it's all one platform, they're going to be having so much more content coming out weekly. They don't necessarily need these big shows. They're apparently readdressing their live action strategy for Disney shows and stuff like that. Personally, myself, I do think Disney they're not hitting right. You know, just going back and doing IPs and stuff and not doing anything original. I think it's a very hard market to hit in terms of what their target audience is. Adults want something a little bit different now. And I think even kids and teenagers want something a little bit more better than what some of the stuff that Disney has been putting out recently. So yeah, so just overall, just really just bad news. On top of that, it was revealed that Doogie Kamealoha MD is not going to be returning for a third season. That has been cancelled. Not gonna lie, I kind of expected this when the show's second season was announced to be a binge drop back around Easter time. I didn't think much of the second season. I thought it was really dull. You literally could watch the first episode and the last episode, and if you didn't watch anything in the middle, it wouldn't have made any difference. I'm just not convinced now that these kind of shows have a big enough audience anymore. I think teenagers are demanding much better entertainment. They want much more mature stuff. They're not this kind of... I don't know, just to me right now, I just feel like a show like Doogie Kamealoha, it's cute, it's nice, family friendly and all the rest of it, but that's just not getting that audience now. And yeah, just, maybe do something original rather than kind of rebooting an old show. So I wasn't necessarily surprised that this happened, but I know there's a lot of people that were upset about it on our Facebook group. And, understandably, it's a nice, easy, cute show, and it definitely had an audience, but unfortunately just wasn't big enough. Maybe had they put it out on Disney Channel to kind of get some bigger audiences, maybe even popped it on ABC, might have helped. But as a whole, I think these shows are definitely finding it much harder to find an audience now, with people having so many different choices. And there's just so much variety. Teenagers as well have a lot more choice with YouTube and TikTok and, video games and all kinds of stuff now. And, I think maybe Disney need to look at these shows and try and find, what kids really want to watch now. And also it's very tricky to get shows for families. There's not that many big family shows anymore, because so many people got different choices and stuff. Adults are looking for something different. It's just very tricky. But yeah, so Doogie Kamealoha will not be returning for its third season. I would say as well, if you haven't finished the show or wanted to watch it now. Don't wait for later, because we know Disney have a tendency to remove cancelled shows. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be removed. I'll stress that. It doesn't mean it's going to get removed. But just make sure you do watch it quickly, just in case it suddenly vanishes one day, because we won't know about it. Yeah, it's a real horrible situation with these cancellations. If you just know that once something is cancelled, there's the chances of it disappearing are so much higher. And I think you've just got to take that into consideration now with anything that's cancelled. But let me know what you think of all of this as a whole. Again, Disney just seem to be they're just cutting stuff left, right, and centre. I don't know what's going to be left at this stage. I know there's a lot of people talking about Marvel and Star Wars. They were even cutting that kind of stuff right back. But again, I think my only hope is that once they get the Hulu stuff all sorted, that then they can fire out much more content more regularly, and therefore it's coming from all the different platforms and stuff in one place, and it'll be a little bit better. But maybe, cutting back and, readdressing and having a little bit more content creation and doing something a little bit better might result in some better stuff for us. But in the short term, it's going to be painful for us. We're going to have less shows, less stuff to watch, but hopefully in the future things will be better. But let's be honest, it sucks right now. But let me know what you think of all of this in the comments below. Okay, let's now talk about what's new on Disney Plus today. So internationally and on Hulu in the United States, you got a new episode of Futurama, a Christmas episode, just what you want to watch on a bank holiday Monday in August. Yeah. So it was okay. I'll be honest. It's a little bit tricky with Christmas stuff of getting into this episode. There'll be a new episode of Sinduality Noir coming as well later today on Disney Plus around the world. Also, today in Canada, there were some new episodes of Solar Opposites. They're doing like a weird, like 2 episode a week, really. Very strange. Just do one system around the world, all over the place. UK hasn't even got Solar Opposite season 4, and I'm really looking forward to watching it. But yeah, so those are the new ones for today. Let's now jump into today's comment of the day. Nikki says, I hope they announce new shows for Disney Plus that are not Marvel or Star Wars related. Something like revivals or sequels like a Gargoyles revival or a new Homeless Bound or Once Upon a Time revival or a hand-drawn animation sequel movie. So yeah, there's definitely a case, I feel like Disney, there seems to be a lot less stuff coming down the line for Disney Plus that is not Marvel and Star Wars, and I definitely think that's something that they need to look at. I also do think that when you put all their content from like 20th television and 20th animation, and you've got all the FX stuff, the adult side of things Disney seem to have got right. You know, there's a lot of great content coming. You've got documentaries from ABC Studios, you've got the FX series. Disney's getting all this out, but it's so spread out, especially in the US, no one kind of puts it into the bundle. Obviously for us international folks, we get it all through Disney Plus. But there is a general theme, I feel like the Disney branded stuff seems to just be missing all over the place. But there again, you mentioned like doing revivals and sequels. To me, that's the biggest problem right now with Disney. And they say that, you know, focusing on their IPs. It's like, that's the biggest problem, is it's just watering down what they've got instead of like trying to come up with new stuff. Or if you're only doing a sequel, I don't even like doing prequels anymore. I think I'm just so bored of them. But I think audiences as a general, the box office this year has shown people are bored of the same franchises just being churned over. So yeah, doing something different, doing something original is what I think they need to be doing. Franchise stuff is great, but you can't just rely on it. And I think Disney have got a little bit lazy with that. But let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Remember to go check us out over at what's on at disneyplus.com. Like, follow, and subscribe, and I shall see you guys soon. Laters.